Understanding Christian education. What is Christian education from a Reformed and presuppositional perspective? understandingchristianeducation.com. Objections to Christian education. One common objection to Christian education is that a person will say, I went to a state school and I'm okay, or my children have gone to state schools and what do you know, they too are okay. But is this valid? Is it true? And is it a strong enough reason to escape the necessity, the obligation, if there is one, to educate your Christian child in a Christian manner? One question to ask for those that maintain that they're okay is, by what standard are you measuring okay? Is it the standards of society, the common mores, morals, standards of the world around you, or even the Christian world, your church, your denomination, Christians in general? Or is it, in fact, the Word of God? And of course we remember that Isaiah 8:20 says, to the law and to the testimony. So this is our standard of judgment. So are you really okay by the standard of God's objective and holy word? Or are you just okay by the norm of society or your church or the culture in general? Another question to ask to the people that are okay is, what are you measuring? Because of course, if we measure the correct thing and measure it accurately and find that we're fine, then that's okay. But if we're measuring weight instead of length, or height instead of volume, then of course we're going to draw mistaken conclusions. So, are we measuring what the school measures? Academics? Well, if we look at this, then of course we'll find an inflation of the of marks. We'll find that new grades have to be invented, A stars instead of A's. So we'll find a general downward trend in what a grade or a mark is worth. But is that a valid thing as a Christian to measure and conclude that we are okay? What about character, how you behave in comparison to the standard of godliness that we're supposed to have? And of course the school teaches character, but is it really biblical character? Do we exhibit a godly character? Are we measuring that? Are we thinking about that? Or are we thinking about wisdom? Does the school produce biblical wisdom, biblical character, or does it in fact hinder it? Do students manifest wisdom more so because they've attended the learning institution that they've been to? So are we measuring the correct measurement, the correct thing to be able to draw a valid conclusion? Another issue to raise is the fact that if it can be shown that the curriculum and in contemporary schools is godless and is challenges or undermines, subverts Christian character, wisdom and doctrines, then is it possible that such an environment can leave one unscathed? Well, an analogy is helpful. Bob Marley, great singer, great voice, wrote some very touching, moving, poignant songs, charismatic figure, smoked a lot of weed in his time. And perhaps we can say that Bob Marley smoking weed didn't do him any harm. In fact, it may have even helped his career. Or, to use another analogy, a biblical one this time, we can say that if we can demonstrate that that the curriculum, what's taught, how it's taught, etc., the general atmosphere of state schools are harmful, and we are unharmed, then we are saying that it's possible to scoop fire into our lap and not be harmed. So, of course, this is contingent in demonstrating that the curriculum is harmful, but can we really maintain this giving? Now, it may be granted that you have gone through your state schooling, humanistic schooling, without being harmed. You have ran across the hot coals, as it were, without getting your feet singed. And some people can do that. They can walk on hot coals. I don't know how, but they can. But is it really about you? Perhaps through the support of family, perhaps through the mitigation of your parent, or pointing out what was wrong, poring over the curriculum, poring over your school books one by one, systematically, every week, every night, pointing out what was wrong and giving you the truth, the true account, and such and such, such and so, then perhaps you have escaped. But is it really about you? What about those in weaker churches, your brothers, your sisters, in weaker churches, in families where perhaps there is no Christian parent to ameliorate the damage done? What about them? Are you really serving their best interests by endorsing, condoning the school system which does harm to the wisdom, character of your fellow believer? Keep watching, like us on Facebook, or go to understandingchristianeducation.com.